Hello guys and welcome to volokinproject. Ever since OnePlus decided to charge a premium of over $500 for their phones, we really needed a new flagship killer. And that's how the Poco Phone was born. 20,000 rupees, $300 or 260 pounds buys you Snapdragon 845, 128 gigs of storage with 4000 milliamp hours of battery. Surely that's a recipe for a very well-rounded flagship killing phone, but is that really the flagship killer we were all expecting, or we all just jumped the hype train? Well, let's find out in my full review. Alright guys, so I totally understand that the Poco Phone has quite a significant importance of the smartphone history, and that's why I'm gonna give it an unusual smartphone review treatment. In my reviews I talk about, the display, this and that in a particular order, and after that I talk about whether it's worth the price or not. With the Poco Phone you already know that it's definitely worth the price, but we're gonna do things this way. I'm gonna talk about all the things which are amazing for this phone. After that I'm gonna talk about things which are in the middle, and after that I'm gonna talk about a few things that absolutely pisses me off about this phone. And of course at the end I'm gonna give you my conclusion and what alternatives have we got. So let's start with the fingerprint reader and face unlock. These are absolutely phenomenal, guys. Now the fingerprint reader, check this out. It's one of the fastest in the market, definitely on the level of OnePlus 6L, the Huawei phones, and the face unlock is very quick as well. It has the infrared port over here, so it works in the dark 100% of the time. Kudos for the fingerprint reader, and I really like this fingerprint enclosure with the camera over here with the red rings. It definitely makes the phone stand out from the crowd a little bit over here. Now the second thing that I absolutely love about this phone is the performance. Now Snapdragon 845, you know that it performs very well. I did a comprehensive speed test against the OnePlus 6, and although the Poco Phone was just a little bit slower in opening applications, it was actually faster than the OnePlus 6 in opening up games, and in gameplay you've got a little bit higher frame rate on the Poco Phone than the OnePlus. For gaming the phone is perfect. You don't feel the heat too much because it's a plastic body, and it doesn't get too much heat as the glass back phones. So gaming performance as well as general day-to-day performance is one of the best in the market. Now when it comes down to battery life, I'm super happy with the battery life, guys. Now the charging times are as follows: 37% for half an hour, 75% for 1 hour, and full charge 2 hours. Now 2 hours is fine considering that the battery is 4000 milliamp hours. There is definitely quicker ones like the Huawei Mate 10, for example, which charges for 1 hour and 30 minutes. But anyway, 2 hours I'm happy, especially considering the battery life. Now I'm getting between, check this out, 8.5 and 12 hours of screen on time, guys. This is absolutely ridiculous. Let me give you a quick example. The Honor Note 10 cannot achieve 12 hours of screen on time, and it has a 5000 milliamp hours of battery. I'm getting about 7.5 to 9.5 hours over here, and on the Poco Phone with just 4000 milliamp hours, I'm getting better speeds, better gaming performance, and like 10-11 hours of screen on time. Check my battery screenshots now. Now, even from the first charge, I knew the battery life is gonna be crazy, because as you can see over here, I've got 5 hours of screen on time with just 64% left, guys. This is absolutely insane, and it continues. 10 hours 32 minutes, that's my usage over here, you can check it out. 10 hours 5 minutes over here, guys. 11 hours 17 minutes. This is insane, with still 6% left over here, which is another, let's say, half an hour of screen on time. 11 hours 45 minutes, almost 12 hours here. 7 hours 53 minutes. I have no idea what I've done over here. Probably a lot of 4G navigation, something like that. Oh, Skype, yeah, Skype, right. 8 hours 19 minutes over here. 10 hours 23 minutes here. 8 hours 46 minutes over here. Okay, so let's talk about audio now. I absolutely love the headphone jack of this phone. This is easily one of the loudest phones ever made, guys. I can definitely confirm that. I've done hundreds of phones already. This is one of the loudest ones. It's definitely louder than the Galaxy S9, than the OnePlus 6, Now, when we talk about speakers, the situation is a little bit different. We've got a stereo setup, but the thing is that we've got like 90% coming from the bottom and just like 10% coming from the top speaker over here. And I would say that that's not exactly a separate speaker. It's more or less, you know, the earpiece, and they via the software they've enabled it. And although the overall loudness is way better, let's say, than the OnePlus 6, overall it's not as good as the Samsung Galaxy S9, which already brings us to the things which are kind of in the middle. Now, in the middle is unfortunately the display. It's a 1080p screen, but it's not very saturated, and the thing is that it absolutely glows in the dark. The black levels are ridiculously high, and it just feels great. You're gonna say, yeah, it's 260 pounds, they had to cut down corners. Well, check this out. There's the Cubot P20 over here. It costs only 120 pounds. It's more than twice as cheap as the PocoPhone, and it has a better screen. Let me show you a quick example. So I guess you can see the difference for yourself, guys. There's the Cubot P20 over here, and there's the PocoPhone. Intentionally, I turned the light down like that so you can see what's the difference in the screens. I'm gonna move my tripod over here just to see those images from an angle, but especially on a black background like that, you can definitely see the difference. And to my eyes, the Cubot actually has the better screen, guys. Now that brings us to the things which are kind of in the middle, and design and build quality is one of those things. Even the provided case is kind of flimsy. I mean, check this out, guys. It's really slim, but it's very easy to come out like that, and it's just you feel that it's cheap. I really like the color of the case itself. It's kind of a semi-transparent color, but it's cheap one, and kind of dirt kind of gets into the case, and it's really not a nice feel on the hand. Just get another case, guys. And the design and build quality, what can I say? It's a plastic build basically all around. The plastic has this kind of a nice satin finish to it. It doesn't feel premium at all, and it's a little bit bulky and heavy. But on the positive side, if you drop it and you can't really crack the back because it's made of plastic. And consider something else. If you crack the new iPhone, whatever it is, XR, XS or SS Max, the back cover replacement, the glass, is over $500, guys, and this whole phone is $300. So have that in consideration, but don't worry about dropping this phone. Nothing is gonna happen to this plastic body, although again it doesn't really feel premium. Now the next thing, which is again kind of in the middle, is the software department. It's more or less, you know, stock Android with a few applications which you can actually disable. But the thing is that there are a few things that I don't particularly like. For example, you don't have a battery percentage over here. And in order to do that, you have to download a specific theme called Zico and apply, for example, if you don't want the whole theme, you can apply just the status bar to get the battery percentage. But why you can't that out of the box? It doesn't make sense to me. And the other thing is that you don't know if you got a notification. Of course, there's a small notification LED over here at the bottom, which I absolutely like. But the thing is that you have to swipe down to see whether you have some notifications or not, which it doesn't make sense to me. And then we come down to the notch itself. Now, I usually don't mind notches, especially on the OnePlus 6, but this notch is huge, guys. This notch is huge. And the thing is that if it doesn't show me the notifications, then why do I need such a big, you know, such a big notch over here? And the other thing is that there is no full screen gaming on this phone, guys. Now, when you go to YouTube, the application doesn't really stretch the video within the notch. It kind of stops over here, which is not very nice. And the only game which runs in full screen is PUBG. The rest of the games are cut out over here. And the problem is that you don't have any notch settings. I really don't like that. And another thing that I don't like is about the screen curvature over here. The curvature is so deep that it sometimes hides content and it cuts it out, and it doesn't have to be that much, guys. It's just too much. A little bit more subtle, like the OnePlus 6, I would have been happy, but with this, I'm not very happy, to be honest with you. But apart from that, the phone is quite quick. The launcher is not perfect, but you're gonna install Nova anyway, and I already got like 2 updates, so hopefully they're gonna fix this and that in the future updates. Well, they must, because it's their first product. Well, it's a Xiaomi company anyway, but I guess they're gonna be keeping up with the updates on this phone, guys. Okay guys, so I'm in the middle of the things that I'm gonna complain about, and one of the things is no wireless charger. Now I've got a bunch of wireless charging lying at home, and it's just sometimes easy just to put the phone on a charger and have it charged, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. You can definitely live without a wireless charger. And now no NFC as well, which means no Android Pay. And for example, if you live in the UK, if you wait for the bus and there is no LED notification board, then you can scan the NFC tag and check what time is your bus coming, but pretty much that's about it. It's not a big deal for me. Now, I'm going to talk about, before we talk about the camera, which is really important, I believe, we're going to talk about two more things that people are actually complaining. They're complaining about light bleed of the screen. And I can definitely notice just a little bit of light bleed over here on the notch area, but it's not very noticeable and it's not a big deal. Seriously, you shouldn't make a big deal out of that. It's just a little bit of light bleed. Where is the Essential phone over here? The Essential phone over here is a few times worse when it comes down to light bleed. It's been in production for like 1 year now and they still have light bleed. So don't worry about the light bleed issues, really. Now the other thing is that the kind of a slow response time of the touchscreen. Some people are complaining about in gaming that it doesn't respond that well. To be honest with you, I really personally didn't have this issue with gaming, but typing is not is not quick, guys. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes, and it's just typing on this phone is kind of slow and cumbersome. So if you're one of those people that are typing like that, is definitely not gonna like this phone. It's not like, you know, iPhone smooth or Galaxy smooth or OnePlus smooth. Now the last thing that I'm gonna talk about today is the camera quality of this phone, guys. And unfortunately I have to say that they've put a 150-pound camera on a 300-pound phone. Now the front-facing camera is 20 megapixels. I really don't know how they came up with that. It's no more than 12 megapixels in real time. The rest is interpolated, at least in my opinion. And the thing is that the focus is quite fixed. So you have to definitely find the sweet spot. Otherwise, if you're a little bit too far away or a little bit closer, it's gonna blur your face. Now, I know most of the phones are like that, but it's especially, you know, visible on this phone that the camera is struggling a little bit. In videos, the quality is good, but there is no stabilization properly working, so it's kind of pointless as well. Hello guys and welcome to volokinproject. I'm gonna do a quick test of the cameras of the PocoPhone F1. Now the front camera is 20 megapixel, but the maximum recording resolution is just 1080p, guys. There's optical, oh no, wait a second, not optical, digital image stabilization. Let's do a short sprint over here just to see how it works and how is the crop, and let's switch back to the back cameras now. Now flipping to the back cameras, guys, I'm not happy over here as well. If you have the perfect lighting conditions, yes, the saturation is quite boosted, so photos are going to look fine on your screen. But if you're shooting in anything rather than perfect conditions, you're gonna see quite a lot of grain creeping up, and it's just, you know, for such a high resolution camera, it's really not a good camera, guys. And unfortunately, low light things are getting even worse. I mean, that's probably one of the worst low light cameras that I've ever reviewed. It's easily on a, you know, 100-pound phone level. And with the videos, 4K doesn't have a stabilization, although there's a switch, there's a toggle which you put in stabilization on, but on 4K you've got totally no stabilization, so you have to use a tripod. And in 1080p you've got a decent stabilization, but the quality is not good. So yeah, you know what I mean. And 60 FPS, you don't have 60 FPS as well. The slow motion is not exactly slow motion, 240 FPS or something like that. So yeah, the HDR is not very good, you don't have light trails, this and that. It's, guys, I mean, I would really, you know, would like to say that that's a good phone camera, but it's not even average, it's actually subpar, and I would never take this phone on a holiday with me, unfortunately. Okay, so it's conclusion time, guys. If you live in the US, do not buy this phone because it doesn't support Verizon and Sprint, the CDMA networks. And if you're on the GSM network, you're not gonna get 4G almost anywhere. So if you live in the US, get the Essential phone or something like that, forget about the Poco phone. If you're in the rest of the world, you're not gonna have a problem with the reception, and I'm happy that they actually have band 20 here in the UK because it's important. The Honor Note 10 is 450 pounds and it doesn't have band 20. So yeah. Now, what is my opinion of the Poco phone? This phone gets so much right. One of the fastest fingerprint readers, one of the best battery lives of any phone, and one of the fastest and the best for gaming in the market. These three things are making this phone a very sweet deal, especially for 260 pounds, especially for the 128 gig version, where the 64 gig version is basically for the same price. So just get the 128 gig version with 6 gigs of RAM. 6 gigs of RAM is absolutely enough. I've compared this to the OnePlus 6 and they're pretty much the same almost. So 6 gigs of RAM, no complaints over here. The thing that it falls short really is the screen. I'm not very happy about the screen. I can definitely live with the software. It's okay, I'm gonna put Nova. But the thing is that the camera is pretty bad. And now, what is my final verdict? Take advantage of the company's strategy. Because if you remember, when Oppo released the OnePlus brand back in the day, they were selling the OnePlus One for like 260 pounds, which was crazy. Everybody bought one. Now, Xiaomi is doing the same with the Poco phone. Their first phone, it's massively undervalued, so probably they're losing money. 260 quid, buy one now. That's a bonus because the Poco phone 2 is gonna be more expensive, the Poco phone 3 is gonna be more expensive, and the Poco phone 6 is gonna be premium. So get one while you can. That's my advice. But the thing is that this is indeed the best value for money when it comes down to a new phone, out of the box, fresh. You're the man, you've got a new phone, it's a conversation starter. What is that phone? People don't know. PocoPhone, what is that? Especially here in the UK. PocoPhone? Nobody heard of the PocoPhone. So it's fun, it's nice to have a new device. And basically, that's the excitement of having a new phone which is fresh. That's why so many people buy the iPhones. The new iPhones are basically the same as the last year, but people buy them because it's the new iPhone. So if you're, on the market for a very solid all-around phone, get the Poco phone. But if you don't mind having the last year's flagships, man, there are so many options for just a little bit more money. Let's say, if you're paying 260 pounds for the Poco phone, you definitely can afford to pay 300. And that's where the Xiaomi Mi 8 comes to play. The Xiaomi Mi Mix 2S is about 300 pounds, which is crazy. This phone is absolutely phenomenal. The Xiaomi Mi Mix 2 is even less expensive than that. And man, even you can get a Sony Xperia XZ2 for like 350 pounds. You can get a OnePlus 6 for like 350 pounds. You can get the Huawei Mate 10 and the Mate 10 Pro under 350 pounds, 330, 350. So there are so many better options out there. But let me tell you one thing, none of them delivers the amazing battery life of the Poco phone. And that might be, the one thing which is definitely worth going for it, because that is a two-day phone, guys. And that's big, especially in 2018. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. That was my full review of the Poco phone. I'm glad you like it. Thanks again and see you later. Adios.